Hi, I'm Chris Koetke, and I'd like to give you some tips for how to cut up a whole chicken. What we're going to do is we're going to cut this up so we have 2 boneless breasts, 2 wings, 2 legs, and 2 thighs. And it really is a lot easier than it may initially look. This is how we go about doing it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to sort of pull the legs apart a little bit so that you see this. See how it makes the skin get a little bit taut right here? And then I just take the knife and I make one cut, just breaking through the skin between the breast and the leg, and the same on the other side. The next thing we have to do is to separate the legs and thighs from the rest of the carcass. And there's a little trick to this, and it goes something like this. If you turn the bird over so that we can see the back of the chicken, and you position your fingers right about here, what you do is you feel for the joint or where the thigh bone connects to the backbone. And if you're not sure where that is, just take the leg, wiggle it around, and you can feel right where that joint moves. And then position several fingers on top of that joint. And what we're going to do is rather abruptly, I'm going to lift my hand up and push the joint out of its socket. Ready? Here we go. Just like so. So by positioning your fingers underneath and pushing up, the bone pops right out. Let's do that on the other side as well. Position the fingers underneath the backbone, give it a push up until that bone comes right out. At this point, it's very easy to separate the leg and thigh from the rest of the carcass because the bones are no longer connected. So the easiest way to do this is simply to roll the chicken onto its side, lift the leg up slightly, and then all I have to do is cut in between the backbone and that leg. Let's do the other side. Roll it onto the side, lift the leg up a little bit, and very easy. It comes right apart. The whole secret is separating the thigh bone from the backbone. We're going to come back to these in just a little bit. What I'd like to do now is remove the breast. We're going to make 2 boneless breasts. So what we're going to do is, first of all, feel for the sternum, just like yours right here, except that the chicken sort of pokes up a little bit. We'll feel where it is, and then cut right along the sternum on one side. And what's going to happen is that we're going to cut into the chicken, and then you're going to notice that you hit another bone right there. And so we cut straight down, and when you hit that bone, what that is, that's a rib cage. And just like your rib cage, the knife is going to have to go in and then follow the contour of the rib cage. So here we go. And as I make little cuts with the tip of my knife, at the same time, I'm pressing my knife against the carcass. So I press, 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 make little cuts. And right at the very end here, I'm just going to continue to cut in a sawing motion straight through the chicken. And what that does is it cuts right through the joint that connects the wing to the rest of the chicken. Let's go ahead and do that on the other side. So I'm going to cut along the other side of the sternum, or the breastbone this time. Cut straight down until I hit that bone. I'm going to make some little cuts here, pressing against the carcass at all times. Now at some point, you'll see that my hands are becoming crossed. That doesn't work anymore because once you do that, that's no longer a safe way to cut. At this point, I'm going to turn the carcass around and I'll continue cutting, always pressing against the carcass as I go. And then as I get to the end of that, I'll just make a quick sawing motion, and once again, I cut right through the joint. Take that carcass and set it off to the side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to separate the wings from the breasts. And that's very easy to do. You just look and see right where that joint ends right there and just cut on the other side of it. So we have the 2 wings and the 2 breasts. Okay. Earlier I said that we were going to have legs and thighs, and right now I have leg quarters. So let me show you the trick of how you separate the leg from the thigh. It's really easy. And all it is you have to find this one line of fat right here. And if you see that one line of fat, you position your knife on top of that line of fat and you cut. And that is exactly where the joint is. And it's very easy to do that. Let's do one more time. So once again, that line of fat right there, position the knife on top and simply cut through it. At this point, you have the two legs, the two thighs, the two wings, the two breasts that are all ready to be grilled or marinated or whatever you want to do with it. And the beauty of this is you're left with a carcass. And the carcass I can take and put it in some cold water, add some vegetables, and I have the beginning of chicken soup. With a little bit of practice, you can very easily learn how to do this. To get other helpful tips, go to betterbarbecueblog.com.